Well, many people find themselves living a living hell, especially those who find the idea of trading little pink love notes on February 14th a gag-inducing proposition. Well, we've got good news for you as GRIDLIFE iRacers and guests from the Washington, D.C. region SCCA visit the Green Hell, the Nordschleife, for the next round of the GRIDLIFE iRacers Sports Car Championship. This place is big, over 13 miles long, almost 150 corners. It is a challenging racetrack just to make one lap. Tonight, we're racing for 30 minutes and for 4 laps around the Nordschleife. Kyle Heyer joined by Finian DeCuna tonight for the GRIDLIFE iRacers Sports Car Championship. And while we've been to some pretty traditional racetracks the first couple of rounds of the season, Finian, tonight we head to the big one, the Nordschleife. This place, as we've said, it's got a lot of challenges hiding around every unseen corner.
Yeah, and that's a lot of corners. I forgot the exact number off the top of my head, but it's, I think, 150 plus at the very least different corners around this racetrack. It is a very unique challenge for many drivers across disciplines of motorsports, and it's going to be a unique challenge for these drivers tonight of extremely long lap time due to the sheer amount of corners. Almost 8 minutes a lap time here, where the track is so long. I think we're only about expected to do, about 4 laps for the actual race, which seems like a very low amount, but when you consider, again, 8 minutes a lap. It's a very long time around here.
Yeah, we got 2 car classes tonight, the Porsche 911 992 Cup car. Of course, we've also got the GT4 category as well. Qualifying is underway. The drivers have been given some extra time tonight to facilitate these longer qualifying laps. Lap times are going to be in the 7-minute range. It's a long time to get around this racetrack. So, got a pretty good field tonight. 40 cars with the combined efforts of the GRIDLIFE iRacers League as well as the Washington, D.C. region SCCA members who have taken a week off from their Formula cars and are going to jump back into some tin tops here this week. Now, some drivers have switched classes. DJ Alessandrini has jumped ship from the Porsches into GT4. He's got friends Austin Cobb and Tom O'Gorman in hot pursuit. That is going to be a good fight. And the GT4 class, Finian, was all really within a couple seconds of each other from front to back. That's impressive considering how easy it is to get multiple seconds behind over the course of this 13-mile lap.
Yeah, it really kind of is a track where you have to kind of change the way you think about lap times, right? Because, normally you want to be within tenths of a second to the driver up ahead of you. Considering how long a lap time is here, just a second or two behind or a couple seconds behind is not that bad. It's actually fairly close, all things considered, for these drivers. So if you can get within a couple seconds of the car ahead of you, that considered relatively close, all things considered. And what I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in Porsche Cup with DJ switching to GT4. I'm sure a lot of those drivers are happy they have a chance of having a different winner in that class for the first time this season.
Yeah, Ryan Otis is currently on top of the 752, 733, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot of changing here as drivers put laps on the board. So Otis is there in the Circuit Storm Porsche at the moment. This is the configuration of the Nordschleife that includes a portion of the Grand Prix circuit, but pretty quickly after the arena section, you loop on back and dive into what was a public works project after World War I here in Germany. And over decades and decades and decades, it has become probably one of the best-known circuits in the world. Of course, the Grand Prix circuit was built to better host modern racing, but this configuration takes the best of both worlds, pretty much the entirety of the Nordschleife and a portion of the GP circuit into one behemoth of a racetrack. I love this place. It's really fun to go fast around here, but it can be frustrating to find speed when you look up at the timing board and the next driver is 8 seconds faster than you a lap.
Yeah, it is really frustrating. And it's one of those things, right, because there's so many corners. These guys are only facing some of these corners only 4 times tonight. So, you can try to be good at one corner, you may be bad at another corner, but you're only going to see the corner only again another 3 times after you go through it. The really big thing, though, about this track, though, is just going to be surviving the 30 minutes around here. It's a very tight, twisty, narrow circuit you can see as we go here on the Nordschleife. One small mistake, and it's very, very easy to make a mistake here, is going to send you off into a barrier that's not too far off in the distance.
Well, last week we had drivers experimenting with all the track limits they could find. This week, well, the walls are there, the curbs are there. You kind of have to keep the car on the black stuff this week to make it to the end of the race. And no one has to enforce the track limits here because they are self-enforcing. Big lift over the top there, the Flugplatz for Ryan Otis as the front end gets light in the Porsche, especially with the engine in the rear. Got to keep an eye on the nose heading up over the top of the hill. Got a couple guests here that we haven't seen in some time in the GRIDLIFE iRacers series, including Brian Heitkotter in his Rick Motec number 43. Good to see Brian back in iRacing. Of course, he's a past competitor in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup and a current competitor in Pirelli GT4 America over on the SRO side. Good to see him back here. And we got Tom O'Gorman again in the top 5 in GT4.
Yeah, again, it's really interesting diversity in manufacturing. GT4 McLaren, followed by a Porsche 718, then the BMW, Tom O'Gorman, and then Schwartz in the Mercedes. So 4 different cars across the top 4 in class.
Yep, and Austin and Tomo in German machines. I would like the BMW here. I think that's probably the car to have. We'll see if Tomo thinks that at the end of things here in the Momo car. Great looking livery on this, by the way, as he gets on the brakes. And there's probably going to be about half the field that will likely not even get a qualifying time, because if you get one off track, it's going to basically throw your entire opportunity away. Peter Zhang, I think, is the only driver. Well, he's put in a time. He's listed in the wrong category. I have to reboot my graphics for that one. But he's up to 3rd in the Porsche 992 category. Albert No is another driver from the DC region SCCA who's joined us tonight and already looking pretty good as far as the Porsche field goes. Now, we got about 40-ish cars here, Finian, but it's going to feel empty, I think, once the cars spread out in this 30-minute race.
I mean, when you consider in real life, right, the actual Nürburgring 24 hours, I think there's, what, 160, 170 cars that take the start of the race, which is ridiculous. But when you consider, again, they're spreading out over the course of nearly 14, 15 miles of track, they spread out pretty quickly. So for these drivers, again, the track is going to get spread out pretty quickly, I think, after the first lap or two. But then again, you're pretty much halfway through the race at that point.
Yeah, watch Albert, big leap there heading down the hill. This is right when I start to feel like I'm at the end of the lap here on the Nordschleife. It's coming up to this section, and in a 992 Cup, it's almost flat out through here. You hear the car lift, and it's going to be flat to the floor, just kind of threading the needle between these curbs. And there's kind of a second carousel later in the lap here in a couple of turns that I find actually to be a lot more challenging than the first one, because you're coming in with a lot more speed, and it leads into a section that eventually leads onto that very, very long back straightaway at the end of the lap. Here's that carousel, and back up on power.
Yeah, then coming through here, you got a long sweeping right-hander that feels really tough to kind of set up. You got to set up this final turn right here, and then onto the incredibly long back straightaway at the end of the lap.
Yeah, this is awesome, because you get to wind out a car like you don't normally get to do in iRacing. This straightaway feels like it goes on forever. You can make a pass and get past again in the slipstream before you get to the end of the lap. But sun directly in Albert's eyes here as he rockets up the back straightaway, trying to improve his qualifying start position. DJ Alessandrini, Tom O'Gorman all up in the green right now at the top of GT4. We'll see if they can put a lap in. Ken Hausil has joined us again tonight in the 23. And he's in a Porsche, has yet to put down a time, and there's probably about a dozen drivers that aren't even on track at the moment.
Yeah, I think Meister just deciding to take it safe, start in the back. I think there's going to be many places to make up positions, especially as drivers make more and more mistakes as the race goes on. Because this track is so hard to just lap. Getting this car around here in one piece is an accomplishment of itself, let alone when you're racing side by side for position.
Oh, side by side, that's a great joke there, Finian. It's hard to get side by side. You're going to be single file for most of this lap, and the brave instances where you do find yourself door to door with another competitor, many of the corners are a concede or crash sort of situation. You both have to lose so much time to make it through corners side by side and not crash. So I think a lot of drivers will be generally fairly smart about that. Easy to defend here, though. Just run your line. It makes it very hard for the driver behind to do much about it.
Yeah, run your line, just don't make a mistake, and then you should be able to hold on to your position for most of the lap. There are a few corners around here where you can be a little bit brave, and you're definitely going to see some drivers maybe try to be a little bit too brave, and hopefully it doesn't come back to bite them.
So Ryan Otis still on the top of the board in the 911 Cup category, as Ken Hausil threads his way through the lap. There's Otis again into the second.
Watching him bounce the car off the curb. The curbs are sending the car airborne for it, because there are really tall curbs around here.
Yeah, these are not your FIA-friendly rumble strips around here. These are big boys.
The FIA has no jurisdiction here.
I mean, you look at old classic racetracks, they used to use all sorts of, they just use boulders as curbs. Like
yeah,
way
I mean,
back
you got the rocks at Alton Park that are the curbs.
Yeah, exactly. Watkins Glen used to have something similar on the outside of turn 1. And it doesn't feel like they've changed that strategy here all that much over the years. They made it more uniform, but They're very tall, probably up to what I'd guess would be 6 or 8 inches high at least.
Yeah.
And
basically, don't touch.
Yeah.
No touching.
Brian Highcotter says he's going to start from the pit lane. He has not practiced. Oh, boy.
No.
Well, we'll see.
I think considering the stack up in turn 1, this is a very tight turn 1, turn 2 complex here, that's not the worst case scenario. He'll pretty much shoot out right in behind the back of the field.
I think if you've got pace, now remember that the difference between Otis right now and Kevin Zhu, who's running second in this category, is 2 seconds. That's actually an incredibly close margin when you consider 150-something corners. If you're a tenth off in all of those, man, you're way off. So you really need to be up on your game to be within even a couple of seconds. That time he picks up, he's 4 seconds clear of Kevin Zhu. Austin Cobb has been satisfied with a 8:10.323. Tom O'Gorman 1.2 back. DJ Alessandrini less than 2/10 back from Austin Cobb. That is incredible.
Wow. That is an incredibly close margin considering how long the lap is. Over 8 minutes just to be 2/10 behind someone is absolutely incredible.
That is amazing. 30 minutes is the race distance. Now, while the race isn't any longer than it is normally, depending on where we start that fourth lap in that time, it's probably going to be longer than 30 minutes until you get to the checkers. So drivers have to remember to put in enough fuel, Finian. That's a critical thing. While it is a 30-minute race, it could end on a minute 37 if you start right at the cusp of that there. So that's a little misleading.
And if you're off on fuel, I got bad news. You got 8 minutes to get back to the pit lane. It's a long, long drive to get back there if you make that kind of mistake. So you want to make sure you go a little bit up on the fuel and make sure you have enough to finish out the race.
All right, in just a moment here, we're just rebooting graphics before we get under the green flag, and it's going to happen relatively quickly. You don't get a lot of time to warm up your tires and things here at the Nordschleife either to give you, a couple hundred yards of straightaway, and then we get to go racing here tonight. So all exciting stuff on the horizons here. We're back to normal racetracks next week, which is going to be very exciting. That will be Zandvoort, and then we'll finish things off at Road America here in the GRIDLIFE iRacers series. But first, we have to take this trip to the Green Hell on Valentine's Day. Now, Dewey DeWitt is here, and he did tell us that his wife is out of town, so that's his excuse. Everyone else, shame on you, I guess, right? It's
no
game
excuses
night.
to not race here, yeah.
Every night's game night. Have a quick look at the weather. That very precise track temperature of 65.99999 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity?
All the six figs.
Yeah, 64% humidity, wind 11 miles an hour out of the southwest. When you're down in the trees here at the Nürburgring, I'm not sure the wind's going to matter all that much. It is cloudy just after 5 p.m. and 30 minutes up on the clock here with the field.
I was going to say, when you're in the middle of the Nordschleife, I don't think you can really tell which direction you're going at that point.
Everywhere all the time. Quick look at our starting lineup here on the bottom of the screen in the GRIDLIFE iRacers Sports Car Championship. Here is a look at your pole sitter. Ryan Otis in the number 15. Kevin Zhu will start alongside Alex Arteyat, Peter Zhang in row number 2. Then Stephen Waller and Albert No in row 3. Then Richard Sawicki and Austin Cobb are the last of the qualifying Porsches. Austin Cobb and Alessandro. Oh, that's AI Sandrini that's going to start up on the second row in GT4, but that's still DJ, I think. Tom O'Gorman will roll off in third. It'll be John Schwartz, Ken Seal, and then, of course, a couple more Porsches that didn't qualify. They are going to be organized by class, but it is almost time to go racing here, Finney, in 30 minutes. What's the strategy here?
Don't die.
Good strategy.
It's very, very simple. Just make it to the end of this race. If you can just do that, you're guaranteed to have a pretty solid finishing position. That being said, we do have an incredibly high level of talent in this series, so I have a feeling majority of the drivers are going to make it through. But it's just going to be a matter of just making sure you just don't put the car out there too much. Don't make an over-aggressive move, especially once you get into the Nordschleife section. It's just managing your car, managing your race for the 4 laps that it is. Yeah, looking at the class sizes, we have 13 of the Porsches and 31 of the, 30 because you were in here, 30 GT4 cars. There's you, but you're up here with me. So 30 GT4s, that's a pretty sizable field, all things considered, and very excited to have a field of this size at a track that is, I would consider this divisive as far as who loves it, who hates it. Some drivers really like racing here, and others cannot wait to be at a track that's a bit more reasonable next week. Yeah, more conventional. Yeah. I wish I had the courage to do a race right here. I've not done the Nürburgring 24 hours. Part of me wants to, but then again, it's such a difficult track and such a hard race. And just imagine The Daytona 24 that we did was hard enough as it is, and that's a very simple track by comparison to something like this. So props to these drivers to get out here and do a race like this, and also props to anyone doing the Nürburgring 24 this year.
I think I've only done probably 1 or 2 races in iRacing on this configuration, or at least something similar to it. As we saw, there's a handful of configurations you can run at this racetrack, but I don't know. There's a lot that goes into completing a lap here, and we're going to get to see 4 upcoming here in a moment's time. GRIDLIFE iRacers Sports Car Championship. Ryan Otis on the front row here in the number 15 alongside Kevin Zhu. 4 laps, 30 minutes. Here we go. Green flag, and we're racing at the Nordschleife. That was fairly neat and tidy. Turn 1 for the Porsches at least, but the worst is yet to come. GT4s are already single file. Cobb, O'Gorman's now up to 2nd, and Alessandrini filters to 3rd.
Yeah, they're taking the start further on back, so they're very effectively single file, as you mentioned. Tom O'Gorman trying to defend it. DJ Alessandrini trying to make a move in his McLaren to the outside in turn 1.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough line to hold. One big lunge back here. Maybe some contact between a couple of the McLarens, but now immediately back to the left. We're going to take a couple corners here on the GP circuit before we loop back around to the green hell. There's 3 McLarens all side by side. Francois Brou is one of them. He's that silver car in the middle there.
Silver car in the middle trying to work his way on through McLaren versus McLaren. Oh, he gets loose in contact with another driver. That's Michael Montella, I think he made contact with.
Yeah, and they're going to get back rolling. Another single spin there by, I think that was Kevin Wendt. Rest of the field streams on through, and for 3rd in the Porsches as they head onto the Nordschleife, Peter Zhang moves up a spot there. Alex Arte and his teammates got Stephen Waller behind him in the number 5, and thus begins the several hundred corner lap that is the Nordschleife circuit.
And off they go into the hills, and just, again, it's all speed, especially in this first sector. A couple of braking zones here that are tricky to nail. Stephen Waller in behind in 5th, trying to get behind, get past Artea, but again, it's a very difficult section of track to try to get past. Effectively single file.
Yeah, I think you're up on the wheel right now trying to gain spots too, so it's very easy to lose sight. You've been practicing qualifying all by yourself. Now you've got traffic out the windshield. It's hard to spot the corners upcoming as the field heads up deeper into the woods here and up over the fluke plots here. Watch out as the cars get light over the crest. And Ryan Otis and Kevin Zhu, 1.1 seconds between them, as now Waller's facing pressure from Albert No. And this is one of the fastest sections on the racetrack right here.
Yeah, coming up to a big passing opportunity. Again, if you can nail this section, he actually backs off of it a little bit. You get some slipstream now into a left-hander going up. You want to get on the binders, you go cresting over a hill. Car loses that downforce, and you finally come back down. Slow down into a right-hander, and then you're going to go fast again. Blazing downhill now.
Yeah, heading down towards Foxhole. This is another amazing part of this racetrack. It's so fun at speed. If you get it wrong at the bottom, though, it is a big, big crash. So here comes Albert No chasing Waller here. Into the compression, up, and the car's going to get light. Big understeer. He's off in the grass. It's going to be hard to whoa the car up. He's going to be in the guardrail, and it's over just like that for Albert No.
It was a decent damage to the left side of that car. Mirror gone, and some suspension damage to that car. Let's see if he can nurse it back home. Looking back in GT4. Battle for the lead already between these two, Austin Cobb versus Tom O'Gorman.
Alessandrini has found himself in 15th, so we'll have to go back and look at that. I'll mark it and check it out a bit later as O'Gorman has got the Momo car right up on the heels of that number 36 Porsche.
Yeah, trailing all over the back of him. As they head on through now through the next section of racetrack, all on in behind. I was actually taking a look at what happened to DJ. He spun loose in the GP section of track.
Really? That's...
Yeah.
Already
it was before the straightaway on the Nürburgring.
I'm not going to dig that up. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
in Nordschleife history. It was only maybe a 10th of a lap ago, but too long for me to go dig it out of the hole there. So
yeah, back end came out around him under braking, so it stepped out, but the car's in one piece, and he's looking pretty quick. Just has to work through some traffic. He's actually working through some traffic right now. Gets past the 34 Max Lupfer, and
that's Max Lupfer in the 34. He's another GLTC competitor from the past. We hope to see him back. He's been working on a BMW 2002 for a while, but I think maybe gave up on that project because it was so rusty. I'm not sure if he's fully committed to bringing that car back or not. But he's brought a Miata back a couple of times and raced with us. And Dewey DeWitt playing hooky tonight from the wife, or the wife's playing hooky from him. Either way, he gets to race this evening.
That's the real winner.
Yes.
Right? Getting to race around here. And now he's got a mirror full of DJ Alessandrini, who's trying to claw his way back to the front of the pack. Ooh, gets blocked.
Whoa! DJ is going to go by here. I think he's got enough of a run to at least get alongside and establish himself there. And I think Dewey's going to have to concede that. That's what I said earlier. So much of this lap is about conceding if you have to. Again, if you want to race people into the corners, be bad time. Look out! Whoa! That's Azamath Muhammad in the middle of the road, and big damage on that car.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. Just coming out of that corner prior. Gonna take a look. In the Mercedes, was falling on through.
Oh, runs wide up onto the curb, and that's a very common issue, and that's a big hit there to the right front. That will likely take him out. Bradley James had a loop in the Porsche category, and he's going to tag Rick Valdez as well. They're both going to spin. As Luis Zendejas in the 21 is going to approach them from behind, and not too far behind them are the GT4 leaders. Cobb has put a couple tenths back on O'Gorman. Out front, though, in the 992s, Otis leads Kevin Zhu, but Otis is off track.
Oh, what a time to cut to him as he made that mistake. He's able to recover, but I imagine his heart stopped for a second. And that's the tricky part, because in that section of track, effectively the back half of the Nordschleife, it's all a rhythm section, just throwing the car into the corner, you know, feeling it out. And it throws you off the rhythm. You mess up the next couple of corners doing so as you look back at O'Gorman and Cobb in their duel for the lead in GT4.
I don't know what your timing's showing, Finian, but the timing was acting really funky. It's showing O'Gorman only, he's basically tied on track with Cobb as far as the gap is concerned, but that's clearly not the case.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a issue with live timing as far as this track is concerned. Never seen that before. Right? You're seeing the same thing?
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. It looks like they're basically battling side by side throughout this entire section of track, which is not true.
What we're saying is we're looking at the gaps on our timing monitors, and I saw Tomo 9 thousandths behind Austin Cobb, but several car lengths back, so that doesn't add up. But they're still nose to tail, and they'll be that way as Otis was able to recover from his slip, and he's into the second carousel. Kevin Zhu still 1.3 back.
Yeah, and catching in, he's kept Otis honest, and if Zhu can hang on, I think, yeah, especially as he head to this straightaway section, might just be in range for a bit of a tow down here.
Yeah, 1.1 back. That's a long ways, but we'll see if it is enough. It does appear that he's going to get into drafting distance here. I'm not sure that he'll pass him by the end of the straight.
No.
But he's going to reel him in a bit.
He's going to be able to mount at least a decent amount of pressure, and then it's another 8 seconds back to Peter Zhang in third, and he's followed by Alexander Artea in fourth.
The straightaway is massive. It's unbelievably long.
It's a long boy.
Porsches have strung themselves out of the 13 starters. Only 10 have kept their distance ahead of the GT4 cars for now, as O'Gorman's much closer to Cobb here, so I do anticipate we'll see a battle for the lead by probably about the third point down the straightaway. Here comes Tomo in the Momo BMW. Big launch. And now in the slipstream. That Porsche's little, though. It doesn't provide much of a hole for that BMW to slot into.
No, it doesn't, but Austin Cobb is going to be able to thank God. It's a little bit of a tow from the Porsche Cup up ahead, but he has that Porsche Cup scampers off in the distance. Tomo going to be coming back with a charge.
He lifted, actually, so I wonder if he's going to just play the game here in line.
Ooh, back in behind for third. John Schwartz and Ken O'Seal exchanging positions.
Hold that thought. Here comes Tommy. He waited on it. Here he's going to go to the... Oh, look at the thing bouncing up and down. That is wild. Side by side for the lead, and he is through, skating that car in the braking zone. That was unbelievable racecraft there by Tom. And then the car control. That thing was hip hopping and skipping and doing all sorts of skedaddling and skadoodling all over the road there.
Sure. Let's go with that.
I mean, wasn't it not? It was totally doing all those things.
Yeah, that car was very unsettled, and he was able to wrangle that thing up into the lead. We'll see now, can he hold on for the next lap or so here with Austin Cobb still breathing on his neck. John Schwartz, Ken O'Seal, Jaden Burke, the rest of the top 5 in GT4.
You were pointing out this battle. Schwartz in the Mercedes, Ken O'Seal in the Porsche. There's Jaden Burke in the 14 in tow. Mercedes, another car that's probably right at home here. Oh boy. Jump on board with the 14. Car spun there. That's Bradley James. That's a Porsche. Probably see some more.
He and Rick Valdez made contact again later on in the lap before they entered onto the straightaway. That's why he was close to the GT4s again. So he's not been having a particularly good run this race. These two have been having a decent run. Peter Zhang and Alexander Ateyet. They're a distance behind the leaders, but they're kind of in their own little group.
Yeah, they're teammates.
A couple seconds behind and a couple seconds in front of fifth.
They're teammates too. That's going to be helpful. Brian Lyons and Richard Sawicki, I think, have just traded positions. So move the 528 up to 7th.
Yeah, it looks like Lyons gave it to Sawicki. I think he said, I'll let you go for this next section of track. Don't inhibit you, and then he's going to ride in behind in 8th.
Al Sandrini's up to 8th place in class in GT4. A little bit deeper in the field here. Nice line of GT4s. Frank Alessi joining us tonight from the Washington, D.C. Region SCCA Virtual Racing League. 12th, 13th is Chris Murray.
Alessi went way wide on the entry to the Nürburgring, and Murray now all over the back of him in his McLaren.
And then Dewey DeWitt and Michael Montello have arrived on scene.
They're all ready to fight here. Although not many parts of the track, at least at this part, you can fight.
Breaks there for Dewey. Again, it's so hard just not to get distracted. You have to race the racetrack. You can't really focus on the driver ahead of you. You have to hit your own marks. There's Luke Furr in the green Mercedes AMG, Andy Volkel in the pink McLaren. Probably the closest thing to his C8 Corvette that he campaigns in the NOS Energy Track Battle Championship in GRIDLIFE. I'm sure there's probably some crossover as far as handling characteristics are concerned. Look at that camera shot. Finian spent so long setting up these cameras, and the default ones are not very good. So Finian painstakingly lays out every camera trackside times 3, because I have 3 different options: TV1, TV2, TV3.
Yeah, normally it's like 60 cameras between the 3 camera groups. For this, it was 250. We see Andy Volkel go side by side with Luffer.
And should be able to squeeze out. Whoa, he tried to slot the McLaren ahead of him, and he's going to wash out wide. Luke for crosses back over, and it's a dance onto the binders as Volkel will hold that spot for now at least.
Yeah, it's such a tricky section of track. It's that left turn into a braking zone, and while you're battling for position, makes it even more tougher.
Lead change. Oh no, they've been like this.
Yes.
Just how long this lap is. You forget when the lead change happened. Oh, Tom's wide. Maybe I think I had a premonition.
You're leaking the script, Kyle. Come on.
Austin Cobb through to the lead just like that. One lateral slide, and Austin's back to the point.
Whoa. Well, Gorman White got a little bit wide, almost hit the guardrail on the side.
And Schwartz, big lateral slide there in the Mercedes as well. And how Seal hot in pursuit.
Yeah, these guys are not too terribly far behind the GT4 leaders, about about 5 seconds down the road.
Yeah,
separated by Rick Valdez, just up ahead.
Burt clinging to them, and it's about 4 seconds back to Darian Taggart and Raul Iriardi in 6th and 7th in class, and then back to this fight, Murray, Montello, and DeWitt. This is a pretty interesting scrap here.
Really is, because they're all really similar in speed as Michael Montello tried to look on the right-hand side to get past Murray. It's just a matter of just hoping you're putting pressure, just forcing the driver up ahead and mistake. Here's a battle, though.
Well, it was one. Ken House-Seal right back by Schwartz. And we'll see if Don can wrestle it back away, and if maybe Jaden Burt can come and have a shot at a podium. That now reveals the gap as 7 seconds between Ken House-Seal and Tom O'Gorman. Now, if these front two fight a bunch, absolutely there's potential for them to get tangled up together, and maybe Ken can turn that podium into a win here tonight on visitation status. Here's Otis and Zoo, 0.8 of a second apart, and have slowly been chunking away that lead that Otis had established.
He's keeping him honest. He's been keeping him in tow. He's been really not many mistakes of the 243. So that's been working in Zoo's favor. Otis, a couple of mistakes here and there. And Zoo looking a little bit faster this lap because the gap was a little bit further last time we checked on them around this part of the racetrack. So if Zoo can keep in tow, should be able to work on by and use some slipstream. Maybe make a move on the back straightaway.
I think the issue with the timing is based on where they are on the track. And I think there's something funky. I know why it is, because of the carousel, that tight loop back. I think that's what's triggering the timing to kind of freak out in that particular section, because I noticed it's not doing it with Tom and Austin anywhere else. It was just doing it in that middle sector right around where the carousel is. And it's probably just doing, checking where the car is nearest and doing a distance over time calculation. Ooh. And in this sector, I think there's something up that's creating that. Now, big tangle up in the carousel, speaking of.
Yeah, I was going to say, speak of the devil.
Is what happens here is they all head into carousel. Whoops! Was that
Murray? Mr. Murray.
It's Murray. He got in there pretty hot and just didn't know how to slow the thing up, and bam. Oh yeah, he just missed his braking point there. He went to the grass, knew it was too late, but man, that is ugly. Takes out 4 cars with him, and it'll call it a night there.
Actually, Murray got into, I believe, Frank Alessi, and I think got him and Frank Alessi's also out of the race. But meanwhile, the battle for the overall lead. Here's Kevin Zhu with that run down the straightaway, going to utilize it, look to the right-hand side, and take the lead away from Ryan Otis, but has not secured the pass. Here we go down the hill again.
And if they go into this side-by-side, we saw how much Tom had to fight the car on the brakes. There they go again. Big lunge from Otis. Zhu clobbers the curb and has to settle for second for now. That was very, very brave by Ryan Otis, but very well planned by him, all things considered.
That is this part right here is a big game of chicken as far as who outbreaks first, and we've seen 2 battles for the lead come down to who's going to break first.
Oh man, he clouded that curb, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think he's just trying to see if he didn't have to give it up, but unfortunately, car is going to be too unsettled.
Bam! Got all 4 tires off the ground for a moment as Zhang and Arteyet are side-by-side teammates on the front stretch.
Drag race into turn 1 of 164 around here. And Arteyet's going to back out of it, maybe take a wider line through 1, a better line through 2. Almost set it up, missed the setup. Let's look back at Cobb and Tom O'Gorman. Round 2, here comes O'Gorman with a big slipstream, doesn't lift this time.
I don't know that he's close enough this time. Closes up to Austin Cobb. Maybe he can pressure him into a mistake, but couldn't get the overlap by the time they got to the corner. And Iriardi, Taggart, Alessandrini in 6th, 7th, and 8th here. This will be a good fight.
They need you back up to 8th place in class. Let's see if he can get by Darren Taggart and Raul Iriardi, who just mentioned up ahead. And Raul Iriardi in a BMW, and I guess we were talking about the BMW being your preferred choice here, and I guess for Iriardi, he's switching out of his typical McLaren into the BMW.
Yeah, I think that car's always just been really strong on fast tracks, and this is one of them. You're not really doing, I mean, you're going left and right a bunch, but I don't think the transient maneuvers are going to matter as much as they would at a tighter, more narrow track. Something like Oulton Park, for example, I would not want the BMW. It's just kind of unruly around there. Here comes DJ up the inside of Taggart. He'll make that pass look relatively easy and set sights on that golden BMW.
I just like the fact that he said going just left and right a bunch. That's a gross oversimplification for this
I know,
track.
but you know what I mean. It's just you're going left or right at any racetrack, but yes. I think that the frequency at which you do it and the speeds at which you do it are there. That's the oversimplification of what car do I choose.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of fast-flowing sections around this track where you pretty much got the foot down. That's where the BMW can really stretch its legs.
That's what I meant.
Speaking of which, Tom O'Gorman all over the back of Cobb again.
See a little counter steer leaving the corner, and I also like the gearing of this car for this track. I think it's got a little taller gearing that might help in some of the faster sections as well. And Alessandrini. Now, DJ would like to get this pass done sooner than later because you don't really want to sit behind someone for this entire first sector.
No, it is very tight through here to begin, which is making it even harder to make a pass. So here, see if Raul's going to, I mean, he's probably not going to let DJ, but he's going to fight for it because Raul being one of the faster drivers in the GT4 class.
Arteyet by Zhang.
Yeah.
Slipped by there in the...
Oh, Zhang made a mistake in the corner prior before they head down the hill. And that allowed Arteyet to get on past.
What a scenic racetrack this is, though. You're filming a chase for a commercial.
Yeah, props to iRacing. This track is amazing. It looks amazing, and they came all the way back out in 2015.
I thought it was 2014.
24... no, it was 2015.
Whoa, DJ!
Look
out.
Car.
Told you he wasn't going to sit around back here for too long. He wants to get by. And your opportunities are few and far between.
Well, here's a big opportunity coming up now. He's going to slipstream. That McLaren has pretty decent top speed.
Out to the left, here he comes, and I don't think Iriarty's going to fight this one too much. DJ goes through.
Ooh. I was getting nervous when you had the car crest the hill and you're turning left quite a bit there. Easy for the car to step out if you're not careful, but DJ able to control it and get on through. Darren Taggart trying to take advantage of our Iriarty being a little bit off kilter after getting past.
Now down into middle sector here. Taggart quickly approaching the McLaren. Big curb jumps. Again, everyone takes those curbs with such liberty. Like it's not going to destroy. And for the lead. Whoa, Tom, where did he come from? How did he do that? That was on the outside of a corner too, I think.
Yeah, that was on the outside in a very unconventional part of the track.
We're not letting you get away with that. Got a great run to driver's right. And squeezes up there and just snags it away. That was very well done.
Yeah, it is very bold because you saw right there. There is no runoff. There's no, that green runoff that you have at, or even curbing for that matter. It's just a little bit of grass, and that's about it. And Tom was able to make it work.
And the battle continues. These two have just been absolutely on it. And then Schwartz and Hausiel, they have re-engaged their battle here, Porsche versus Mercedes-AMG.
I gotta say, it's been very impressive that the leads for both classes have not expanded more than really a second and a half the entirety of this race. At a track like this, well, where you typically do see pretty big disparities in lap time and separation.
Yeah, I mean, the competition is obviously fantastic, but, you bring up a good point. Typically, you're racing the racetrack as Jaden Burke is going to go off in the background. He snagged this fence. You're usually racing the racetrack, and the other cars are just a bonus to keep you engaged. But when you're actually having to race another driver, this place really comes alive. It can be frustrating at times, but when you've got a rabbit to chase that's a similar pace, I think this track is fantastic fun.
It's very fun, actually. As I mentioned, the battle between Zoo and Otis looks like it's expanded just a little bit as they head into the last part of racetrack, but this battle is still really close. Austin Cobb, Common Gorman, they're going to be side by side through this section of track. There's a very tight left-hander coming up here that they definitely want to be single file through.
Well, Austin had overlap, and he's going to bail out.
Yeah, right here.
Maybe the carousel's the opportunity next.
The entire section is pretty much flat out except for that corner right there. You need to give it a lift.
Yeah, the Porsche is really going to excel at the tighter, twistier sections of the track. And this is one of them, and pounding Tomo through here.
And here we go into the carousel.
Don't fall out. Keep the car pinned there on the banking. I'll tell you.
It's always interesting how the car literally just kind of goes flying into the corner.
I've grip rolled in there. That's not fun.
Wouldn't recommend.
Nope. Keep the car on the tires. That's what I always say. The roof skin's not for driving. Oh, Tom's off track there. Dropped the tires in the grass. This is the best battle on the racetrack right now. It's for the lead in class in GT4. And the lead in 992 Cup is only 1.5 apart. So we'll keep you on the spiciest show that we've got to show.
Again, most of this section, again, you're going up and downhill many times. Constantly, it's effectively a roller coaster this back half of the lap. And for Ka, that just means fewer passing opportunities, really, unless O'Gorman makes a mistake.
I wonder if the BMW will punch a bigger hole than the Porsche does on the straightaway as far as the draft is concerned. That would help Austin, but he's not quite going to have the legs that Tom had either. We'll see how that pans out for these two as they come back around to finish lap 3 of 4. 6 minutes left, and that means next time by it will be the white flag. And Ryan Otis, where is he? He is on the straightaway coming to the white. So we are actually only going to be probably a minute or two over 30 minutes. Maybe didn't need to pack it as full of fuel as I thought.
Yeah, maybe not. Hey, more fuel the better, I guess. It definitely won't be at least short as he comes onto the straightaway here. White flag for Ryan Otis.
If the flag stand's got it in hand, and I think it does. It's hard to grab there, but down the front. If we had more cameras, then maybe I could. I'm just kidding. How many cameras did you set up, Finian?
Too many.
Over 200.
Way too many.
Iriarty and Darian Taggart, they've traded spots now. Give Taggart 7th, and DJ actually not as far up the road as I would have thought he would have got, considering he made the pass about a half a lap ago. But
he's been trying to chase down Jaden Burke as the next driver on his list. He's just up the road. He's not too far ahead, about 3 seconds up.
yeah, just DJ's early spin really cost him a lot of time. I think he'll be missing out on the battle that Austin and Tom are having. But here's what I'm talking about. The Porsche is fully in the draft of the BMW, but just struggling until later in the straightaway to get a run. Now he's got one here, but might be too little too late to actually have a shot at the lead. Here he comes. Does Tom defend? He tries. Cobb alongside, bouncing over the curbs, goes Tomo, and through to the lead goes Austin Cobb again.
Now, here's the thing. I feel like Austin might have wanted to wait till the last lap. Although Tom did make a big mistake there in that section. Because next time they're going to be coming through there, Tom's going to be the one with the slipstream.
Holy cow, that was wild. Oh, you had that thing on the limit, plus some, I think. And we've still got 30 cars running of the 41 that started, so that's not so bad.
That's not bad at all.
And Tom lost a bunch of time there to Cobb. I wonder if he might have picked up a slowdown there because he kind of bobbled off that curb and had to give up some time. So it's 1.2 up to Cobb and 1.3 from Zoo up to Otis in the Porsche Cup category. Next closest fight is this one here for third in class in GT4, Schwartz and Ken Hausiel.
There they go duking it out, trying to make a move. It's Ken Hausiel on John Schwartz. Not quite able to get by, but again, they got a lot of racetrack left to make a move. Just wondering if Ken is going to be willing to wait that long to make that move.
Again, I think if Ken Hausiel could see what just happened for the lead, might be willing to sit behind John Schwartz, but he's not going to. Alongside the Aerokinetics Mercedes-AMG, drag race for third up to the Nordschleife entry.
I was going to say, they're approaching the end of the GP circuit into the final chicane before they head back onto the Nordschleife for the final time. They cannot see leading there. But again, that's a lot for Schwartz to try to see if he can get back in his Mercedes-AMG GT4.
Love the sound of this car, one of my favorites. It's interesting how similar it sounds to the GT3 variant, considering they're two completely different engines.
Yeah.
6.2 liter NA engine in the GT3, and it's I think a 4.6 bi-turbo V8 in this car.
I mean, hey, well, it comes out of Mercedes. Got to have that. They're known. It has that. The Mercedes has a distinct sound with it, right? Like the Porsche with its straight cut gears has that distinct sound, and the turbo and its engine as well, flat engine in the back.
Again, a little bobble there, but so did Schwartz, and leaving clouds of dust in the rear view. The teammates, Alex Arteit and Peter Zhang, still running third and fourth, half a second between these two. This could get very interesting the last time down the straightaway.
Yeah, and it's also just impressive, too, to note that Otis and Zhu have checked out 24 seconds ahead of these guys. They're in their own zip code, effectively.
That's 5 or 6 seconds a lap by the looks of it. Oh, there he is. Well, might be the green hell. I didn't think it was filled with ghosts, but got an apparition ahead of us.
With this track, I'm surprised that it goes haunting around here.
Old enough and has had quite the history over the last half century or so. Worst of it and the best of it. So the lead battle in the Porsche Cup category is far from over between Otis and Zhu, so I want to keep my eye loosely on that timing screen. Otis did make a mistake earlier. If he makes another one, Zhu's close enough to pounce. He's definitely not close enough to draft up to him, though, on that last straightaway. And keeping an eye on Cobb and O'Gorman, it's 9/10. Tom is a little quicker since he made his mistake. But he's going to have to get there sooner than later if he wants a shot. That was a big push there for Tom. And it's going to cost him.
He's got to be very nervous when you get to see these cars get on the curving like that. It can easily throw the car off. This is just sliding. You can tell Tom's pushing. He's pushing really hard. He just don't want to lose this.
He's up against a timer, not only the one that ends this race, but up against the one that gets him to the rear bumper on that last run down the stretch. That's the fight he's been looking forward to, and he doesn't want to get denied that opportunity, but Austin is doing his darndest to make sure that he won't have that shot.
Yeah, I was going to say I was a little bit worried with Cobb making that move a little preemptively, because if O'Gorman can get back within slipstream range, he can easily make a move back down the straightaway and then secure it, and it's all done. But if Cobb can stretch his legs and get out there, especially using the Porsche to its advantage in this section, he can try to scamper off and away. Here's a look at Jaden Burke, DJ Alcindrini battle for 5th place.
This is an interesting little scrum here between these two, 5th and 6th. And again, DJ, with that spin on lap 1, put himself deep in a hole, but if he can grab a top 5 out of it, I think he would take that.
I think he definitely would take that. It's just a matter of finding where Jaden makes a mistake or where DJ can take advantage and put his car alongside. Oh, he's going to try to look to the left-hand side here. Whoa. Not enough of a gap.
Now he's going to look to the right, but no hole there. And Jaden Burke's going to have to make this Mercedes-AMG even wider than it is to hold on all the way. 20 seconds left in this race, but they'll have to come all the way back around to the stripe. Here's Ryan Otis as he's entering the final sector, if you can call it that. It's still a couple miles long, but within a few minutes of collecting a checkered. Here's Jaden Burke, Alessandrini, 10th apart for 5th place. Oh, here he comes.
So there's DJ peeling out to make a move. Just a matter, will he be able to? Again, they're approaching that tight left-hander up ahead, one right-hander, another left. And then here we go into the braking zone, and there will be DJ securing the spot.
Oh, Jaden kept the foot in the throttle, though. He could pop out to the right before the right-hander leading to the carousel. Well, he's going to have to lift now in tow. He might have one more run at him, but Alessandrini through to P5. Schwartz and Hausiel up by about 0.3 of a second is Hausiel on Schwartz, and O'Gorman has not been able to stop the bleeding as far as running Cobb back down. 1.4 is the difference now.
Yeah, running out of time, and we are out of time. Officially, the timer has hit 0.
Whoa, Tomo, look out in the grass. Hang on. Oh, this is going to be bad. Oh, into the fence. And we'll see if he gets back rolling. He's got 9 seconds to Ken Hausiel. And Tom is back rolling. How bad is the damage? He's only got to go, what, a third of a lap or something?
Effectively, yeah. I think it's good enough, again, for the rest of this lap. Although, yeah, I heard some crashing sound. I think it was him hitting a curb prior to his incident. Yeah, he's just pushing really hard on the back half of this lap.
Ryan Otis outlasts Kevin Zhu. Kevin ran him down. Less than a second is remaining between the two, but Otis hangs on and wins at the Nordschleife here, the GRIDLIFE iRacers Sports Car Championship. Kevin Zhu pulls in second. Derek James and Stephen Waller, they're still battling back here. All the while, Ken Hausiel's got Schwartz closing in behind. Tomo's nursing a damaged BMW. Austin Cobb's driving away. And GT4's been busy.
And for third, Peter Zhang just made a move on Alexander Artea in the back half of the lap. Still not quite done yet. Artea trying to get a run. As they go back onto the front straightaway, I don't think it's going to be enough. Sun
is setting and opportunities are out for Artea. So Peter Zhang up 5 seconds on his personal best lap that time. 7:54, 9:06 to a 7:59 that he'd run previously. That was an impressive lap and pass by Peter Zhang.
Taking a look back at GT4 Austin Cobb, he's approaching onto the back straightaway for the final time. This is the closest battle in class. Ken Hausiel versus John Schwartz for third.
And this is game on. This is going to help Tom because...
Oh, Jaden Burke, sorry, has crashed out just prior to this.
Got big damage on that car.
Yeah, big wipeout for him, and unfortunately, he's running so well right up to this point.
All right, sitting duck, Ken Hausiel is in the Porsche. I would take the Mercedes-AMG any day as far as the straight line pace here. Let's see what Ken Hausiel can do, how he can defend from this. Here comes Schwartz out to the right. And Ken is going to have a not ideal line for the next couple of turns. Cobb is going to take the checkers here momentarily. There he is, coming around to the front straightaway, and then Schwartz clears Hausiel. Let's see if Ken has another run.
Not quite able to get a run. He might have something. He can try to get a better run through these final few corners here, but he's going to set up way to the left.
He might have a shot at it here. Last corner, checkered flag waving. O'Gorman finishes second. Schwartz and Hausiel drag race to the checkers for third in the podium, and I think Schwartz is still going to get there, but it is going to be tight. Schwartz, Hausiel separated by just 1/10 of a second is the margin there. Wow.
Close battle between them. DJ Alessandrini in behind will come home and round out the top 5 as we look here. Jaden Burke nursing a wounded car back to the end as Sadiq trying to make up one more spot.
Sadiq started in 12th. He's up to 9th, has 8th on the horizon here, but did not get a very good run out. Burke's injured car is still going to beat him to the stripe. Adam Kobach has crashed coming to the checkers as well. Wow.
Everyone pushing hard to the finish here, trying to make up as much time as they can.
Brian Heitkotter, I'm not going to have any data on him because he started from the pit lane, but started at the tail of the field from pit lane. That car is in pristine condition, and he'll finish 15th. So after starting from the pits, I would not call that half bad.
No, not at all. And again, that's what we talked about during the race. As long as you can finish, you'll finish semi-decently.
And to the checkers, he will come P15. Well, that was exciting, and I thought we had some great racing at the pointy ends of both of those fields. The Porsche 992 guys in particular had a back and forth a few times. Austin Cobb, Tom O'Gorman, what a fight that was between those two, but Cobb was able to deliver the final blow.
Yeah, really solid job. Really great battle amongst all these drivers, especially between Otis and Zhu. That was a close battle all race long. Peter Zangarte had a similar story as well. Stawicki, James Lyons rounding out the Porsche Cup class, at least the top finishers in the class. Then he had a GT4, Austin Cobb winning over Tom O'Gorman, and that really the end graphic doesn't do it justice because they were close between each other all race long. Gorman wiping out in the last half of the lap, finished second, with John Schwartz rounding out the podium in GT4.
And looking down the rest of the order, Ken Ausiel, DJ Alessandrini, Darian Taggart, Raul Uriardi. Jaden Burke crashed late in the race, but he was able to at least finish the race off. Gene Sirota, Andy Volkel, Adam Kobach, the rest of the field down here. And then some that didn't have such great days. Max Lupford finished down in 21st in class. And here's some that didn't make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, then a lot of retirees. Luis Zendejas, Frank Alessi went, and then the rest of them, Zach Rubin back there in 28th. So I think around the 40 starters, we had just about 30 or so drivers come across the line. Sorry, actually 25 drivers making it to the checkered flag.
Well, we got Kevin Zhu here, second place in the Porsche 992 Cup category. Kevin fighting with Ryan Otis there for the duration of that race. Had it for a moment, and it slipped back away. Great fight between you and Ryan. That was fun to watch. What more did you need to get by that 15?
I think we were both pretty similar in pace, but Ryan just made less mistakes, and he just little by little, kept on pulling that. And at the end, we were really flying. I think we both set our fastest laps that last lap, and he just still had that little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, this track is obviously a hard one to battle. Most of the time, you're just racing the racetrack instead of racing your competitors. So how tough is it to stay focused on just the car ahead and not lose sight of where your corners are coming up? Because I find myself in the heat of battle just forgetting, there's a hairpin right there.
Yeah, definitely need to get in the flow and really focus on not interrupting it for sure.
Kevin, thanks for chatting. Congratulations, man. P2. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And it was, let's see, Ken Ausiel ended up fourth in that one. Let's chat with our second place runner in GT4. That was Tom O'Gorman. And Tom, that was an exciting race. I had a great time watching you battle there with Austin Cobb. Coming to the completion of the first lap, I think I invented some new words. I'll have to send you a link to that later because I had a giggle. Flabobbling and bobbling and bouncing and all sorts of fun ones as you hit those curbs battling Austin. P2 kind of had an incident there at the very end, but the back and forth there was super fun. Take us through your battle there with Austin.
Wait, what are you talking about? You didn't see anything.
I see everything, Tom.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I was
seeing.
I was a factor in that race way longer than I expected to be because qualifying was like very, very, very representative of what our pace really was. So first of all, I'm really sorry that DJ had a disconnection somewhere, but the fact that I got between him and Austin at the beginning was like the first promised moment. And then after that, Austin was very, very, very generous with giving me kind of whenever I showed the nose, he gave me the position. And then when he was ready to take it back, he took it back. So on the last lap, what you were watching was me hoping that the car would land after every curb I could possibly hit, just going as fast as I possibly could.
Yeah, we noticed that part.
It didn't have it in it, but unfortunately, the big booty Bimmer didn't have it in her this week.
No,
Kyle.
No, she didn't. But yeah, you were wringing the neck of that thing. There's a great replay. I got to find these timestamps and send them to you. There's a great replay of your car, I think, skipping 3 feet off the ground, maybe the next lap after the first time. It was wild. It was super fun. So thanks for putting on a show, and as always, good to chat with you.
Yeah, you guys too. Good to talk to you guys.
All right, we'll see you next time. And Austin Cobb outlasts Tomo, and we're just chatting with Tom Austin, and he had a good time. And the big booty Bimmer didn't have it in her, is what he told us. But man, super fun race between you two, back and forth a couple of times, and you beat a BMW and a Porsche at a track this fast. What'd it take to do that?
Oh man, well, it took 2 wing is what it took. I made a last-minute decision last night working on the setup to go ahead and trim the wing out and see what happens, and it makes it a little spicy at places, but gives it that power to kind of pass where you want to. Man, but that Bimmer was strong. That big booty Bimmer was just coming for it, dude.
Yeah, it was super fun to watch, and Tom was really throwing the BMW over curbing. How compliant was your Porsche in comparison? Because it seemed like Tom could get really aggressive on that stuff even at high speed, and it didn't really seem to upset the car until he took a step too far there on the last lap.
So the Porsche, it can be a little bouncy. I don't know if you've ever driven it in game. It can be a little bouncy, but with some work on the shocks, looking at the histograms and stuff, you can tame it down. So it was honestly pretty good. I don't think it'll ever be as good as the BMW, but it was a pretty tame package over curbs. And this is just one of my favorite combos of all time. I know it's one of Tom's favorites, and man, that's some of the most fun Nords racing I've ever had. And real happy we got to have that much fun. Just real unfortunate DJ spun himself out.
Yeah, and Austin, congratulations. Beat Tomo this week. We'll see if you can do it again next week at Zandvoort. Thanks for chatting.
Feels good to pick one up, brother.
Absolutely. Enjoy this one. Celebrate. Nürburgring is yours.
All right.
And Ken Seal finished 4th place tonight in GT4. Ken, I figured we'd chat because we had a handful of people pop on over from the DC Region SCCA Virtual Racing League. Fun racing tonight, especially you and John Schwartz had a great back and forth, and never quite had to hold off DJ because of a slip and slide he had early. But take us through your night there battling with John for the podium.
Yeah, super fun. I have to thank GRIDLIFE for inviting the WDCR folks over, so that was great. Everybody seemed to do pretty well, so that's always good. Yeah, the battle with John was super fun. I was faster in the first half of the track, and he was faster in the second half of the track. And then he seemed to get the draft at the front of the straight, and then I couldn't do anything at the end of the straight there at the end. So I had a little run on him towards the checkered, but not quite enough. I think it was like a little over a tenth between us. Pretty crazy battle after 30 minutes on the ring.
Yeah, super fun, Ken, and we're off to Zandvoort next week. Your thoughts on that one? We're going to be back at a more conventional track after fighting the green hell for a week.
Yeah, next week is going to be super fun for the F4 cars, and then the P-Cups and GT4s should be a blast there. The track is a ton of fun to drive. Maybe not the best track for racing with the bigger closed wheel cars, but maybe we can push each other out of the way a little more.
Ken, P4 and GT4s, congrats, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks. See you guys.
See ya. All right, Finian, wrapping things up from the GRIDLIFE. This was fun. Man, I like this place. It's few and far between when we get to show up here, but battles up front, I think, were worth it.
Oh, absolutely. It's very surprising because you normally don't see such close battles at a track against so big, and we talk about it all night long. You're mostly driving the track, not necessarily the competitors, but this night definitely proved it wrong. Some fantastic battles all across the field.
And we're off to Zandvoort next week. Thanks for watching here. If you're on the GRIDLIFE Twitch, make sure you follow it to catch more of the GRIDLIFE iRacers iRacing series here, the Sports Car Championship. And again, we'll see you next week for the second to last round, the penultimate fight in the championship before heading to the National Park of Speed at Road America. Kyle Heyer, Finian D'Cunha. We'll see you next time.